Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a beautiful necklace using Coreana chain and beaded beads. So these are beaded beads. I actually have a tutorial up for these, but we're going to make another one in this video because I'm wanting to use some Coreana chain and make a necklace with these, and I need one more. So we're actually going to be using beads from the Bargain Bead Box December 2021 edition. Now, our encouraging word for today is Rise and Shine Cupcake. And I like this card this morning for some reason because I'm tired this morning. It's raining here, which makes me sleepy, and yeah, I didn't sleep good last night, and I would love to have a cupcake right about now. So yeah, Rise and Shine Cupcake. It just all fit. So that's what we're going with. Okay. So to make these beaded beads, these are not hard at all. I'm going to show you what you need. You're going to need some of the really pretty, these rondelles that were in the Bargain Bead Box this month. That's these little, like, I don't know what you call that finish. It's kind of like a party or something. It reminds me of a carnival. They're really pretty. You're going to need those. You're going to need some. You're going to need 8 of these smaller ones. Now, it depends on how many beads you want to make. Obviously, it's 8 of these smaller rondelles per bead, and it is. I'm not sure how many of these bigger ones, but we'll figure that out here in just a second. I'm sorry, I should have known that, but I just know it's 8 of these, so we'll get there with that one. You're going to need 2 crimp covers. You don't have to have these, but I wanted them just to make it prettier. You're going to need a clasp of your choice. And then I've got 2, 4, 6 kind of larger bead caps. So these beads do have big holes. Now you can put a bicone in there, a bigger bicone if you had like a 6 or an 8 millimeter, or a bigger bead, whatever. But I'm going to use a bead cap backwards this way, just because I like the way it looks. And so I've got these larger bead caps out here. I'd say these are, let me get my little mat out and I'll tell you exactly what millimeters they are. So these are 12. Yeah, 12 millimeter bead caps, okay? And this is a really cool beading mat, this Beadsmith mat. It's got all these measurements across the top for millimeters, then it's got your inches and centimeters on the bottom, and it's just a great surface. It has a non-slip rubber back, and I have actually got one of these available on my website. So if you want one, I only have one, but it's there. One bead mat for sale. Okay, and then you're going to need some little, I've got 2x2 crimp tubes here, okay? I have some oval jump rings, just in case. I'm not sure we're going to need them. I've got some size 11. These are galvanized silver Miyuki seed beads. And I've got some others mixed in there, look, but we're just using the silver ones. I have 2 size 11 beading needles. I have 6-pound fireline in smoke, and I've got probably 3 feet of it here. You probably won't need that much, but I like to have a little extra just in case I need to tie a couple extra knots. You just never know. And then these are 2 6 millimeter fire polish beads, and these are 2 rondelles that came in the Jesse James December Magical Mystery Bead Box. Okay, but you can use any beads that you have. I'm just using those because I thought they were pretty with this. Okay, so get all your stuff together, clear your workspace off. Oh, and you're gonna need Coreana chain. Where's my Coreana chain go? Oh, here it is, on the floor. Yeah, sorry, you're gonna need a length of Coreana chain, depending on how long you like your necklaces. I'm probably gonna do mine about 20 inches, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 22. I like them to be kind of up around my collarbone. I don't like them real long unless they're tassels. So yeah, Coreana chain, and this is available on my website as well in a lot of different finishes. This is the platinum. Okay, that's kind of important. I forgot that piece. Okay, and then you're going to need a ring for your lobster claw to clasp onto. I'm probably just going to use a regular jump ring or a larger jump ring, so you'll need that as well. And I'll leave that's everything for real. So go ahead and get your stuff together. Come on back and we'll make this thing. Alrighty, so let me get everything out of the way except for our beads and our needles. That's all we're going to need right now. Okay, put out some of these seed beads. Yeah, there's a purple one mixed in. Okay, so this is not hard at all. I'm going to show you how I thread my needle. So these are size 11, if I didn't say that. I think I did, but just in case I didn't. So fireline is round, and your needle hole is oval, your eye of your needle. So you've got to be able to flatten the fireline to go through the eye of the needle. Some people do it with pliers. I just take my fingernail and do this and flatten it. And then it usually is very, very easy to go right onto my needle. Okay, just like that. And then I just pull it down a little. And we've got to do the other end. We've got to have 2 needles for this project. So I just do the same thing. It just flattens it out on the very end. That part's not going to get used, I don't think. I mean, we usually don't have to add thread in a project this small, so you should be fine to flatten that out with your fingernail. Okay. Now this one's going to prove me a liar and make it hard to get through there. Usually I don't have any trouble. There we go. Okay. So now you've got a needle threaded on each end of your fireline. And what we're going to do, we're going to grab it. We're going to pick up 3 of our big rondelle beads, or 6mm rondelle beads. I'm going to put my needles together and let these fall to the bottom. So there they are. And then I'm going to take 1 needle and pick up a rondelle. I'm using my right needle. I'm going to pull it down here on the thread, and then I'm going to take my left needle and I'm going to cross through opposite directions from the one. So I've got thread coming out both sides. I'm going to pull that tight, and it creates a little 4 bead box. Okay, we're doing right angle weave, and this is, a lot of people find right angle weave really hard. I always found it to be one of the easier stitches. I don't know why, but I just understand it, I guess. You've got 4 beads in a box, so we need 4 in this next box. We've already got 1 here, so we need to pick up 1 on each side, 1 on each needle, let them drop, and then pick up our next one, and we're going to cross through opposite directions, just like we did on that last one, and pull it down. And if you can see, it creates another little box. So the boxes share a bead, but you've got 4 here and you've got 4 here. So you have 2 boxes. Okay, we're going to pick up 1 bead on each needle. Whoops. Let them drop down. And then we're going to pick up this next bead, pull it down a little, and pass through opposite ways with our other needle and pull. And try not to get things tangled up like I just did. There you go. If you do get things tangled up, don't panic. It's okay. What did I do? Oh, I've got my needles crossed. Okay, there we go. It's like, why is it having issues? Okay, and I need 1 more bead, which I don't have out here, so hold on, let me grab it. Okay, so we have 1 box here, 2 boxes here, 3 boxes here. We need 1 more box, so we're going to pick up 1 bead on each needle. Now, for this last box, we want our bead to form a round bead, okay? And right now it's flat. So we're going to take our needles. I'm going to lay this right here and do it just laying down so you can see. So I've got my right needle here. I'm going to pass from the right to the left through this very first bead. I'm going to pull that up, and then I'm going to take my left needle and I'm going to pass from the left front to the right through this bead. Now don't loop through this thread. Make sure that you just go straight through the bead, okay, and pull that. And then when I pull them together, when I pull them both up, it forms my round bead. Okay, see that? Now, I'm going to take my right needle, and if you can see, I'm coming out of this bead right here, this direction. I'm going to go through this rondelle here to the right, a little to the top and to the right. And what that's doing is it's putting me out on this outer edge so I can bead. So I need to do something with my left needle. So here I have my bead that I'm coming out of. I'm going to do the same thing on the left side and go up through that bead, okay? And just pull everything tight. Try to keep your tension as tight as you can. It's kind of hard. Now I'm going to stick my left needle in my mat, and we're just going to work with the right needle for a few minutes, okay? So I'm coming out of, if you flip this to the side, so here's how we've had it. If you flip it up like this, you'll see there's 4 beads here on the top. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm coming out of this bead right here, this direction. I'm going to pick up one of my light blue rondelles and I'm going to go through the next bead. Okay? Just like that. I'm going to pick up another rondelle and go through the next bead. Now I'm just going through these beads on this top little box right here. Pull it tight. Pick up a rondelle. I'm coming out of this bead. I need to go through this one. Pick up a rondelle. And I'm coming out of this bead, so I'm going to go through this one, and I'm going to sew through that next little rondelle after it. And I'm going to go back through this rondelle, which is the very first bead that I started with. Okay, just pull it tight. Stick your right needle in your mat. And now we're going to flip the whole thing over. Okay, so here's how we have it. I'm just flipping it completely over. Now I am to where I can use my left hand needle. And as you can see, my left hand needle is coming out of this bead right here. And I've got my 4 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. So I'm going to take my needle, pick up a rondelle, and I'm going to go through this next bead. We're going to add these seed bead embellishments. My video quit, so I'm not sure where it quit. Okay, so we're going to pick up on each needle, right and left, 3 seed beads. So 3 on the right, just let them drop, and 3 on the left. Let them drop. Now we're going to pick up 1 seed bead on our right needle. We're going to pull it down onto the thread, and we're going to cross through with our left needle the opposite direction, just like we did in the beginning with the bigger beads. We're going to do that with the seed bead. We're going to pull. Did I go through? What did I do? Oh, nothing. I've just got my thread crossed under there. Okay. So you have to be careful. If you end up with your thread going through something that shouldn't be going through, then it gets tangled up. So let me get that back out of there. I went through that accidentally. Okay, there we go. Now we pull tight, and here's what we have. Okay. So we're going to pick up 3 seed beads on each needle. 3 on the right. 1, 2, 3, and 3 on the left. Let them drop down. And then what we're going to do is, if you can see, if you pull this up, we're coming out, we're above this bead right here on the side. We're going to go through this next rondelle up here. So the needle on the right goes. Okay, so I am sorry. I had to stop the camera and free up some space. It just would not record. Okay, so we were going through. We had made our little embellishment here. We took our needle on the right and went through this rondelle from right to left. Now we're going through the rondelle with the left needle from left to right. Now, we don't go through these blue ones, okay? It's just this middle one that we're doing. The light blue ones we don't go through. So when you pull tight, hopefully, what have I got? I've got stuff caught. Okay, there we go. When you pull tight, that's what you should have right there, the little X. Okay? Now, we're going to pick up 3 seed beads on the right needle. 3 seed beads on the left needle. Drop them down. Then pick up a seed bead on your right needle. Pull it down onto the string and then go from your left, with your left needle, cross opposite ways from left to right and pull. Okay? 3 seed beads on the right. 3 on the left. Drop them down. And we're going to go through this next rondelle in the middle. So with the right needle, I'm going from right to left. Okay, with the left needle, going from left to right. Okay, just like that. We're going to do it again. 3 on the right and 3 on the left. So there's 3 on the right. 3 on the left. Drop them down. Pick up our seed bead and cross through. Opposite directions. Just like that. Pull. Okay. 3 on the right again. 3 on the left. Drop those down. And then we're going to cross through. So we are over top of this bead. We're going to cross through the next one here in the middle with the right needle from right to left. With the left needle from left to right. And pull. We're going to do this one more time. So 3 on the right, 3 on the left. Drop them down. Grab your seed bead. Cross opposite directions. Pull tight. 3 on the right. 3 on the left. And we're going through this last rondelle right here in the middle. So from right to left with your right needle, from left to right with your left needle. And pull. And there is what we have, our little beaded bead. Okay, now we're going to take our right needle and we're going to sew down through a couple of beads and tie knots, okay? So we're coming out right here. We're going to go down through these seed beads, okay? So this whole row of seed beads right here. So here's where we're coming out. We're going down through here, including the middle one, and then down through these last 2. Okay. Pull everything tight. And then we're going to go underneath the thread. So the thread right here that is holding this middle rondelle bead on, we're going to go underneath it. Can you see it under there? Okay. Then we're going to go through this twice. So 1 and 2. It's going to make a surgeon's knot. You want to be very careful. You'll pull your knot down very slowly and make sure that nothing is in the way and that everything's tight. Okay, and there's your knot. Then we're going to go through the big rondelle and we're going to tie another knot doing the same thing, going through the 2 threads that hold that rondelle on right there, and then through our loop twice. Now I need to make sure I'm not catching any seed beads in here, okay? And then just pull down. And there's our second knot. Now we're going to go down through this first few 3 or 4 seed beads right here. And then we're going to trim our thread. And if you have a thread burner, you can use your thread burner. Okay? Pull that one to the side. Now we're going to make a knot with our left one. So grab you're coming out right here of this big bead. We're just going to sew down through. Actually, I'm going to go the opposite way so I don't, you know, have too much thread going through the same bead. So down through the first few seed beads, there, the 3. Then I'm going to go down through the middle one. And then down the other side. And that's going to put me out right by this rondelle. So I'm going to go underneath the threads here. And I'm going to go through this twice. Pull it down slowly so you don't catch any other beads in it. Go through this rondelle. And then we're going to tie the knot here. So same thing, go underneath your rondelle string that's holding it on. 1, 2, and pull this tight. And then I'm just going to sew down through the first 3 of those seed beads right there and cut my thread. Okay, so there's our beaded bead. Now you need a total of 3 of those. Okay, so here's my other 2. I've already done them. Need a total of 3. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our Coreana chain and I'm going to measure this out. Let's see. So here's 12 inches. Let's see. Another 8 would make it 20. I think I'm going to cut it right at 20 inches. Okay, I'm going to hold that up. And that's pretty good because by the time I put the clasp on, and I might put an extender on, I don't want this to be real long. Okay, so now we're going to pull in our other beads here and our bead caps. And this is how I'm going to do mine. And like I said, you can do yours however you want to do it, but this is how I'm going to do mine. So I'm going to string on, let me think about this now. I want to string them on the right way. I'll go ahead and put, yeah, okay. So I'm going to do a fire polish bead, then a bead cap. Wait, I need that to be, I have to think this through. I'm never good at this. Okay, going this way. I want it facing the fire polish bead. So there we have it, just like that. Always have to think it through with that when I'm putting bead caps and beads on and they're going on the opposite side. And then I'm going to use one of my beaded beads that we just made. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to do a bead cap facing away from the beaded bead. a rondelle, and a bead cap facing that rondelle. My next beaded bead. Okay, so it's so far, it's looking like this. A bead cap facing away from my beaded bead. My bigger rondelle. Bead cap facing the rondelle. My next beaded bead. Then a bead cap facing away from my beaded bead. Nope, this way was right. And then my little fire polish. All right. So here's what I've got. Now, I am going to put my chains together and find the middle. I want to use crimp beads on either side of these just because you just don't want this to flop around a lot. You know, you want it to stay together. Now, it doesn't have to be together to the point of, you know, not being able to bend or having any movement, but yet you want it to stay together. Otherwise, it's going to look weird. So I'm going to take my crimp tube. I put my chains together. I've got both sides even. So I'm going to take a crimp tube on both ends, both sides, let them fall down, and I kind of just let gravity do this. So I just kind of hang it like this, let gravity pull those beads, and then I'm just going to smash the crimp tube down. Now you're not crimping like, you know, you would with tiger tail or something like that. All this crimp is doing is holding these beads in place on the chain. So you don't have to, you know, worry with crimping pliers, make sure it's perfect or anything like that. You just need it to hold them on there. So just smash it down. Okay, then I'm going to take some pliers and I'm going to grab my little crimp bead cover here. I'm going to cover that crimp bead and just close it up. And all that does is just put a little decorative bead on there. It looks like a bead instead of a crimp. And with these, a lot of times you have to kind of round them out. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so there I have it. I have my two crimp bead with the covers and my beaded beads. Now we're just going to finish the necklace. So again, I'm going to hold it up onto me and make sure that it's not too short and not too long, and it's pretty much where I want it. So I'm going to take two more crimp beads, and I did not mention that you needed clamshell covers. I'm so sorry. You do. You need you need clamshell covers for this. It was kind of the end of the day yesterday when I was trying to get this all together. And I've got like 15 other projects going on too, so. But I'm sorry. I did not even remember those until this very moment. You do need a couple of clamshell covers. And these are on my website as well with the Coreana chain. So there are a couple that match. So let me put these away. There's a pearl in there. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of important. Okay, so now we're going to put our, that one doesn't have a hole in it. Grab another one. You can actually punch a hole in that with a beading awl, but I'm not going to try to do that on camera. That's just would drive you guys crazy. And I've got a platinum one and an antique silver one here, so I'm trying to find two matches. I don't care if they're both antique silver or both platinum, as long as they're the same. Okay, two platinum. All right, hopefully these have holes. They do. Okay, so you put your Coreana chain up through the bottom of your clamshell connector, just like that. we are going to put our crimp bead on the end. And again, you're not crimping for this to be pretty. All this is going to do is hold the clamshell on, and it's not going to show. So just take it, smash it down. That's it. You don't have to do anything pretty with this. I love this Coreana chain for this. That is one of the very reasons I like it so much. Then you close up your clamshell, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right up through the bottom. Take your crimp, smash it down, put your clamshell up, and close it right up. So there we have our finished ends. Now let's put our clasp on. So I'm going to be using a couple of jump rings here. I was going to use that one, but it's kind of thin. I think I'm going to try to use a little bit thicker one for connecting that lobster. So here's the one I'll use to clasp my lobster onto. And this one looks pretty good for, here we go, here's a better one, for connecting the lobster on. So this is a 6mm. It's a little bit thicker of a jump ring. I just like to use thicker ones to attach the clasps. I feel like it's going to be more secure that way. So I'm just going to put my little jump ring through here, attach my lobster claw, and close that right up. Make sure you get your jump ring closed really good because these are thin and it'll slide right through there. And then I'm just going to attach this ring to the other side for the lobster to clasp onto. Now if you wanted to put an extender on, you could. This would be the place to do it. You would put it right here on this jump ring. But I don't think I'm going to because it fits me pretty good like it is. And there we have it. Where I put the eternal jewelry coating on this guy, he's a little bit stiff, but he'll loosen up. Alright, and I'm just going to clasp that closed. And I will put this on a form over there so you can see it. Give me just a second. Okay, so here's our finished necklace with our handmade beaded beads. And this is beautiful. It's very sparkly and pretty. There you have it. And then it's on the Coreana chain, which is really classy. And it finishes up to a lobster clasp, which doesn't show obviously because I've got it hanging on this form. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and subscribe. And if you're interested in subscribing to Bargain Bead Box, I will have all the information in the description box below the video. There is a coupon code you can use. It is Wendy2, and it will get you $2 off of your first month's box. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.